Hey there, it's me again, here to show you how on Think Central you can look up your students' assessment data. I'm going to show you two different ways. One is a very quick and short way to get a snapshot of your students' progress, and the other way is to create a report. And the report is a great way to just create a spreadsheet that has all of your student data as well as your class averages, and it is actually separated by standard to help drive our instruction and to get a baseline for how our kids are doing throughout the year. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look here at assignments. So assignments, I have my beginning of the year test. 3 out of my 3 demo students that I created have done this test. So it shows me that there. So I am going to click on assignments. Now I'm going to have all my assignments listed here. If they're not showing up, please make sure that this date range has the date where you have assigned your assessment. So this assessment has to fall within this range in order for it to show up here. So you can change these dates in order to make sure you get that assignment to show up. Here I have the option to edit, delete, or copy or get my results to my assessment. So what I'm going to do for this demo is I am going to get my results. So if I click on results, a new screen will pop up telling you that this was the beginning of the year test. 80% was the mastery level. This is the date it was assigned, the date it was due, and then I have which students have mastered and not mastered. So Selena Gomez was my only student that mastered this assessment, while Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift did not master this assessment. If I want to look a little bit further as to why maybe Justin Bieber didn't master these standards, I can click on the percentage and a new screen should pop up. Here we go. And on this new screen, you'll see that there were 30 questions. And I can see how many points he got for each one. Now, the computer does give you partial credit for multiple answers. So if there's 2 choices and they only answered one correctly, there is a partial credit, which is represented by the orange slash. So right here, we can see, okay, he got partial credit here. I want to find out why. I can click on the little arrow. And here it is, question number 8. Here was the standard, identifying number of objects in a group is greater than, less than, or equal to. And if I would like to view the question, I can click here and the question will actually pop up on another screen as well. So this is a way for you to just kind of dig in and see how your students have done. But I'm going to go back because I want to show you how to create and generate a report. So this is a great little snapshot for you. You can also see, who's finished the test and all of that. So I'm going to click back on the big Think Central logo on the top left. And when I click on that, it should take me directly back to my dashboard. So now we looked and we went into assignments. This time what we want to do is I want to go into reports. So I'm going to give you the quick basic steps under reports to create and generate the report that you may need to be able to analyze and assess your data. So right here, it says we have to look at all of our filters here on the left. So assessments, yes, I want to keep that one checked. The only things we're going to change, we're going to keep the current year. You must type in and select a grade level. So in this case, I used a kindergarten assessment, so I'm going to click kindergarten. And you have to, I know it's weird because we only have math, but we have to click on math and click apply. Once you've selected the apply button, your assessments will show up in this list. You can select all assessments if you have more than one, or you can select the assessment that you would like to get the report for. So I'd like to generate a beginning of the year test report. You can scroll down. There are other filters you can choose, but we're not going to use any of those other filters. I'm just going to generate my report. So as you can see, I have a summary report right here. This is actually an overview of my entire class. So this is my class average, 73%. You can see down here, 73%. And this was for MA1, which is my beginning of the year test. The reason why it says that is because if I have more than one test, so if we do a mid-year and an end of the year test, those would show up in different colors as a bar graph for you to compare your class on each of those assessments. But what we really want to do right now is I want to have you click on the name of your class. So you click on the name of your class right here. And now it's going to generate a little bit different report. You're going to have all of your students listed here with their percentage. So you can kind of see where students have landed. And down here, you can actually see each of their percentages. If I were to click here, I would get this even more specific to be for individual students. But for right now, all I want you to do is make sure you have your class report generated right here with the graph. Now we're going to skip over the comparisons tab. The comparisons tab is if you want to compare your kids from one time range to another time range throughout the school year. So we're going to skip over that right now. But what we really want to look at is we want to view it by standard. So let's click on View by Standard. And now what I'll see here is I will see my beginning of the year test. I will see all of my standards listed right here. It tells me how many questions went and were aligned with each of these standards, how many points were possible for these standards. And here it shows me my average, class average. So 66.67% of the students in my class, that was my average score. So the students in my class got an average score of 66.67%. Here, the students in my class got 100% on this. So my class average was 100%. So I know that that's something that my students have mastered. If I keep scrolling over, I then get each of my kids and how they did, their actual percentage for each of the standards. So here I have my average for the whole class, but here's Justin. Keep going over. Here's Taylor. And here's Selena. Now, this is pretty tricky to read because I have to keep scrolling up and down and over. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take this and you're going to click Export. And I'm going to export it to a spreadsheet. And I'm going to click Export. And now when I open up that spreadsheet, you will see that I have all of the standards listed, how many questions, number of points, average, and each of my students. So it's a pretty long spreadsheet. You'll also notice that things aren't showing up all that well on my spreadsheet. So I may want to go up here. For those of you who are not very familiar with Excel, you're going to want to double click on the line in between each of the columns. And here's what it does. But watch this. Look, it's very long and tricky, right? So here's your tip and your trick with Excel. Select the entire sheet, and you're going to want to wrap all of the text. Okay, that usually will help. And then if I were to make this slightly smaller, it's going to wrap it. It should, or not. Guess it's not going to do that for me. There we go. If I click on wrap again, I apologize for that. I can then see here that I have all my standards listed, questions, points. You can double click on the lines to make them smaller, make them larger, play around with it. I know it's a tricky spreadsheet. Not everyone is very Excel savvy, but here is your spreadsheet. If you need help playing around with and modifying your spreadsheet, please let me know. Because I did make a little mistake there too. So let me know if you need help. So I'm going to exit out of my spreadsheet. I am not going to save that. But that's how you get all your data. So it's all right here. So you export it into a spreadsheet, and then you have that data to be able to print or to save on your computer and analyze as needed. That is pretty much how you look at your class level assessment reports. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to ask and let me know. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you later on our next screencast. All right, have a good one.